Okay, welcome everybody to the Thursday Bookmap Academy meeting. This is our Discord event here. We have it on YouTube as well, but it's the Bookmap Academy program. It's a coaching and mentoring program. It's open and mentoring to all. It's open. So if you're interested in joining, all you have to do is come over to bookmap.com, click on the More button up here at the top, and then you'll see the link here, Bookmap Academy, and you can read about it and you can apply right here and go through the process, the steps here. We will give you feedback on your journaling of your trades. And if you can meet a quota, a threshold of quantitative as well as qualitative, then you can reach the out from Junior Academy into Bookmap Academy, and then you can also get Bookmap for free. So that's how we're willing to share with all the good efforts that you're putting in. Let's see, is there any kind of updates? Just the every Tuesday at 2 p.m. East Coast time, we have an onboarding webinar. This is just a very simple and straightforward webinar to get you up and running in Bookmap. So if you have any questions about downloading, installing, getting up and running with the program, as well as connecting it to data and purchasing data subscriptions. So we'll get you connected. We'll guide you through the process. Like I said, every Tuesday at 2 p.m. And you'll see it on the Bookmap calendar here. If you go to bookmap.com, and then you click on education here, and then you'll scroll down here, and you'll see our events calendar in here. If you scroll down a little bit more, here's the onboarding event here. You register on Zoom right here. Okay, so there's that. Just to talk a little bit about the criteria and journaling and building your playbook, we just talked about meeting the quota, and then you'll be marking up your charts. Just to give an overview here of what this entails, is we're looking for you to mark up order flow phenomena so you understand what these elements are on the Bookmap chart, and then you're going to have a checklist for your setup and integrate some of these order flow phenomena events into your setup. This will give you an edge, right? That's the whole goal here. And then the trading and journaling and Bookmap will help you build your playbook, and then there's a progression to it. And we continue to show this image from Slowdown from I don't know, it was like a year or a couple of years ago. Look how he marked up his charts over here with everything. It looks kind of confusing. And then some months later, look how he's focused. Now he's in Bookmap. He applied for a Junior Academy here. He's in Junior Academy and this point here because he's now looking at very specific things, and then he's turned that into a full-blown setup and checklist for himself. He even has like a little diagram image of exactly what he's looking for, how that matches what he's seen in Bookmap. And this will help you make a much better trade with your plan, and that's the goal here of the journaling. All right, so let's jump in and welcome everybody. And we've got Stan and we've got Jack here tonight. So let's see who's in the room, and let's get started here. So let's see here.
I didn't see anybody in particular.
Okay.
Oh, I see DNT. There he is.
Yeah, DNT and Shaq Baloo.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, let's start with DNT.
Okay. Yeah, I also see Vinnie in here. I wanted to invite Vinnie up to the stage. Vinnie's been, we'll go over, I'm going to cover Vinnie a little bit later, but would love to get his feedback. He's been just knocking it out of the park, as you guys know, in the Academy. Really, really great stuff. We'll get another voice in here to get some feedback here. All right, so welcome, Vinnie.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, thank you. I mean, really great work, as we have mentioned many times here. All right, so let's go into DNT, and Jack, take it away.
So really what I want to focus on for DNT, the top two images are great. We're going to look at those. Like you can look at those on your own, but I really want to look at the third image because he's really got a great deal of information there that I think is really kind of what we want to focus on here.
Okay.
And this is kind of where he's outlining his errors and everything, right? And this is really, really good. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, when I see something like this, this is a very short-term series of trades. This is a lot of trading, right? It's a lot of getting out of a position that's already winning. To me, just looking at the chart, not analyzing anything else, this looks like overtrading. Like that's where my instinct initially looks at, right? So when you're coming back and journaling stuff, come at it from that angle and see if you agree or disagree, right? Because that's something that you might want to be aware of. Because if you look, you got the short direction right and you're ready to go. And you really have no liquidity that's countering you to really want to get out of this trade. Everything's just kind of like, hey, come get me. And then there's nothing else there. And the market just continues down lower each time, right? This is a great stair step all the way down. And then you really see the change in momentum right there, like that 1327, 1328. At that point, I could see you starting to like want to exit some positions. But really, up until there, everything from the order flow is saying, hey, just be short in my short and just let it go, right? And I think that maybe you got in your head a little bit on that one. So those are the two things that really stood out to me. I don't want to nitpick too much more of that because I really think based on your comments too, that's kind of where you were. And I kind of want to let you take it off from there. What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I like the over trading. Can you hear me good? Yeah, you can. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, you're good.
I think I
Yep,
see
you're
you.
good, buddy.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah. So okay. So the context set up the um let's set the stage here for my errors. Okay, so if you look on the left side, it says on the far left side it says errors. First try good,
Yeah.
errors thereafter. So the context here was there's this structured trade where we're taking this long from VWAP and I'm aiming for VPOC, but I'm also aiming for higher. I'm aiming for a higher to get the high of day. And that was a good long, right? But this trade fails. Trump starts talking, and context changes at this point. And
Yeah, instantaneously.
recognizing, yeah. So I take this second longs to the right, Bruce. Yeah, right there. So I take these other longs, and by this time, the trade already failed, and I'm trying again, right?
See, I
So
thought you
it's
were
just like,
short.
uh-uh,
So that's definitely something
that
you
was
want.
my trail stop got taken out right
Yeah, so that's definitely something you want to make sure is a little bit more clear in your image in your journal, right? Because this looked to me initially like you were short because you're looking at the VPOC fail, right? And then you get into VWAP and then you're looking at shorting from there. That's what I thought.
Yeah, that would have been nice, right? No,
Yeah,
I
that's
was
that's what it
long
looks
and I
like
was
setting
trying
up.
to. I know. Yeah, and then I jumped the gun and I was entering, and I was entering long basically on this way down, this push down. Even though I recognized already that context, or I should have, I think I recognized the context change, but I didn't.
Here's something you
I
might
was
want to add to your checklist, just a
psychologically
little one.
triggered. Yeah.
Should you be entering along below VWAP? You should always stop and check that, right? Like that should always be something that you want to be looking at, right? Because at that point, you're mean reverting, right? So make sure you have a
Mm,
checklist, in my opinion, there that says, okay, do I want to be long? Yes or no? And then you can go down your flow chart. You know what I'm saying? Just like have
mm,
that mental question. And then the opposite's true. Do I want to be shorting above VWAP? Like
hmm
then context matters. And then you're like looking, okay, am I 1 or 2 standard deviations away? Does this fit a different type of trade maybe? And there's a lot more context to that kind of stuff, right? And that when journaling it that way and adding it into your checklist, you'll be able to turn around and start tracking that over time because you'll start, referring back. So it's one of those things that I've kind of just always kept in my brain, and that's kind of why I was looking at this, and I was just like, oh yeah, you're short into this, but why are you exiting your shorts? Well, you're not exiting your shorts. You're getting stopped out of your longs.
Yeah, I was taking longs all the way
Yeah.
pushed down, right? Yeah, that's smart. Okay, I like that. I see that. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm essentially mean reverting. Um,
Before you have a
longing
reason.
below the VWAP. Yeah, and then yeah, what's the reason? Huh?
Yeah, before you have a reason. And one of the things that I was thinking about getting this image and then seeing Stan here is like, this is a beautiful liquidity image all the way down. That just like, Bruce, if you could highlight it, just that staggered liquidity, just all the way down. We're just meeting it all the way down to 1330. We kind of reject that lower one there, and then like we never come back to it, right? We just run back up to the upper end of liquidity. And I was gonna, when I handed it off to Stan in just a second, I was gonna be, Stan, what do you think of that liquidity? Because this is something that Stan fixates on.
The one on the top?
Yeah, all of it, just that stair step
Yeah.
down and the giant block above.
The giant block, not that one.
No,
Yeah,
the big red
yeah,
one.
exactly. Yeah, the big red one. Yeah, for me, yeah, I would say that, yeah, it will be taken out.
Yeah,
Just
right. Like once you
very
have the context of the
exactly.
setup, like
Yeah. But as today, I don't know if you saw like almost at the end, like you got like
Yeah,
yeah, almost like the same, a big like liquidity that came and just try to push into it. Took a bit
been a
of time to get it. But yeah, it's true that it's clearly. I feel it better when I clearly see like the liquidity being filled all the way down, and you can see like this liquidity. It might be iceberg or something in parallel, but yeah, clearly it's great like to see all the liquidity filled and this liquidity that say like yeah, here we might trade over there. There is like clearly like sort of an anomaly. And I would say like if it keep pushing down and this liquidity pool, yeah, I will reconsider my scenario. But it's clearly maybe not how you look at the markets, and that's just my personal view
I think it's
this
really important
liquidity
though. Like if you're
behavior.
using Bookmap to kind of keep the visual of where you expect liquidity to
Yeah,
interact. I think that's still important. Like it doesn't matter what trading style you use. I think that context is always important. It's one of the biggest benefits of the tool, in my opinion.
yeah, truly.
But
and I just posted a picture, an image in the chat. It just
yep,
went up now.
yep.
This is that liquidity has been a common theme. The one I just posted in the chat, this actually happened today, but all week long, this liquidity has been doing this. Price
Yep.
liquidity comes in, pushes the price, and then it rejects, but then it comes back eventually and like grabs it. Oh yeah, yep.
So
Bruce
this
highlighted
is really good
liquidity.
for options traders to take advantage of. It's very, very difficult for share type assets, Delta One instruments, to take advantage of this, because from the time you're waiting for 1330 to what is that 1440, like it grinds lower that entire time. Like that's a lot that you had to take for pain, whereas you can place a call fly at that area, which is exactly what I did on ES. And if it swings into it, you can exit that call fly for a profit. And because it's basically a time agnostic instrument at that point, it doesn't matter if it's 20 minutes from now or 2 hours from now, right? So this is why these markets can be very difficult. And this is kind of one of the things we were talking about earlier. It's that really looks good to get up there, but can you suffer the pain until it goes there? But that's a great target, right? That liquidity.
Yeah. Uh-huh. That's good.
So
And probably a lot less riskier in the volatility that we're in, right?
yes, because that particular trade, I think I put it on for 83 cents per lot, going from, it wasn't quite the bottom. I didn't get quite the bottom. It was one of those spikes down somewhere in there, and I put it on above. And I think it was somewhere around 83-ish cents, so $83 per. And then I took a lot of them off when they just doubled up in profit. Like as soon as they doubled up in
Wow.
profit, I just took them off. And that happens if you get a spike at all, really. in that direction because you're not paying as much. It's a different kind of trade, but you can see this liquidity in the market when you go to make this trade. Like this is still very visible, very usable. This overlines with gamma levels as well. Like this stuff all interacts. It all interplays. Everybody's playing the same game. We're just playing by different rules.
Hmm. Interesting.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, push down, and then it tracks it right back up, and yeah, that's like the mean reverting market, and kind of
Yeah. Well, and also
interesting.
in negative gamma or in high volatile environments, which you would definitely say that we have a
Mhm.
higher volatile environment right now, there's not a lot of book depth. And in Bookmap, we can actually see this. If you pull out if you go and just look back throughout the day and you just look at the size of the order book around price, it's about 25%
Mm,
thinner than it was a month ago. And it's
mm,
probably 35 to 40% thinner than it was last quarter, right? So what that means is let's say a 20 lot comes into the market and they hit the bid, right? Well, they're just going to push everything out of the way because it's a big trade right now. And the cost of that trade, they pay more. So instead of getting all of their fill at one level, nice and neat, they'll actually have to pay a little bit more. They have to pay like 4 or 5 ticks a lot of times. And that's a lot, right? Like that's a cost of carry for a long. And that's a function of
yeah,
just not as much participation in the markets, which we can see in Bookmap.
interesting. Yeah, that is important. And tracking liquidity, do you use the CME website to kind of do stuff to do
See,
that, or
it's a
you're just
really
looking at
great,
Bookmap?
yeah. CME website is a great tool to look at liquidity in general, just where the overall book is. I just keep an eye on it for the most part in Bookmap. You get to the point where you start doing things long enough, you can associate the levels of gamma with what you're seeing in the order flow from Bookmap and the price ladders from what you're seeing in liquidity tools, right? So they all become very interchangeable,
Very
and yeah.
Maybe, yeah, that'd be a good thing to cover because the auction. All right, so like I'm glad you mentioned it because the auction I think is very unnatural right now, and I know it's negative gamma. Like volatility obviously is there.
It's just less
The rotations are
participation.
huge,
Yeah, it's just less
and
participation.
yeah, so like yeah, and then the less the participation, the more unstructured or the like what do you call it, disorderly auction you kind of get, right?
Yep. You
And
get
so
unfilled
you just
auctions
see
a
this
lot of
like
times. Yep.
yeah,
We
and
see a
this is
lot
like
of that.
another huge. Uh-huh. All right. So,
The
I mean,
footprint is
I didn't
very
realize that the
interesting in a lot
liquidity.
of times. When we have some of these spikes and you go and look at the footprint chart in Bookmap, you'll see that there's a lot of these unfilled auctions. That's kind of a footprint term. You can look that up, guys. If you have questions on it, you can just ask in the Academy chat and we can go over at some point. But it basically just means like, hey, this moved in and out so quickly, like we kind of would expect some more transition here. There's something here potentially. And sure enough, a lot of times
Mhm.
you'll go and rectify that position. And it's a function of liquidity, right? Like some of those people might be hedging process and hedging into that level so that they can unload at that level properly, or they just might not be participating in the auction at all, and it's now imbalanced to some degree because that's where their risk is, and then they can enter and rebalance. So it all depends on how the particular marks are using things, and this goes from institutionals down to retail clients. The auction that we see in Bookmap is the auction. It is everything you see for the entire ES market. So it's great stuff.
Hey,
Wow. Yeah, that
maybe
makes a lot of sense. And
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead, Bruce.
Maybe Vinny and Stan have some comments here and some feedback.
Um, yeah, for me, like I would just say like about the stop. I find like at this time it's a little bit maybe small for the movement than the ES does.
This one
Um,
here, Stan, or all of them, I guess. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
All of them.
Yeah,
Yep,
I mean, like,
all of them. Yeah,
yeah, at this time, like, it's, yeah, yes, there's easily 10 points in five
that's break
minutes.
even.
Yeah, but
Uh,
yeah, but I find great, like, you have your
I,
checklist. Yeah, as Jack mentioned, the other flow was clearly against you. You recognize it. For me, obviously, the relative volume tells you maybe something. Um,
Yeah, I was
and
thinking
yeah,
of the same thing.
and as Jack
Yeah,
said,
totally agree.
yeah, all the liquidity being filled, the big liquidity on the top. I mean, yeah, you
Yeah,
just
I
maybe a
really
little
think
bit.
that's
glancing at the chart, I think like the first thing I said, just it looks like a lot of over trading, and I think that that's really like the crux. I think that Stan's kind of like mentioning the same stuff. Like everything looks really close. Like you're at break even. Everything like you're not really like looking at this. I don't get the feel of somebody who's in the flow of the market, right? Like where things are just naturally like, hey, I'm nailing this trade, right? Like it feels forced the entire time. And I think that if you can sit down with this image and really kind of like reconcile that with your process, I think it'll help.
yeah. I made a video on it and everything, and I'm still getting this like, all right. So all week we've had this like just massive volatility, and even the a relative like ATR, let's say the ATR over like a 10-day period or a 5-day period, it just been massive. I mean, just comparative to comparing it to the previous auctions that we've had, it's just like this volatility is so extreme. Sizing it properly, the risk management, like, I mean, can you even trade today? Like you
This
have to
this
you have to have like a massive stop, you know,
I feel a
and
lot
like,
like I feel like Bruce set up the start of the conversation at 3 o'clock, like kind of like setting up for this kind of conversation because it is difficult because these moves will wipe you out. Like you have to be aware of
yeah,
that. And sometimes if your strategy is narrow, that means you don't participate or you participate in a different way.
hmm,
And that's one of the
absolutely,
biggest reasons why, yeah, some of those can be. So yeah.
And
yeah,
I don't know
100%
if you were on micro or if it was the full.
micro, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but clearly lowering the risk at the moment, though.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely
right.
reduce size, reduce total risk for
Yeah,
sure.
and maybe set
So
a
that's
number of trade then you want to take per day. Maybe as yeah, choose privilege like the quality. Maybe just be more patient. Say like for example, like if you have to take three already three trade per day, because like we can see here, there is already a lot of them. Maybe you can have a better quality. Um, yeah,
mhm.
I think should be something good to consider too. Depends your style, but yeah, I think the quality will change a lot.
Vinny,
Yeah,
I'm
I
kind of
something that actually made this video, and the whole point of it was to highlight exactly what you just mentioned. Like, I'm like I'm pointing out my errors intentionally for the purpose of reviewing them in the video, so I can watch them in the morning for negative visualization. So I'm looking at I'm watching this video of me over trading or trading like crap, and then I'm looking at it and being like, wow, this is really bad. You know, I'm gonna post it, and I'm gonna put my errors out there, so I kind of get sick of my own trading and my um my bad trading, and then I'm also reviewing it hopefully every morning to also remind myself that I don't want to do it today again. I don't want to keep repeating these habits. So,
Yeah,
and it's really easy to do on days like today when you have this like, or like this whole week where we just have this massive volatility. You, like you said, you really want to be patient. You really need to have that, because if not, it's really easy to get over to go
To get
get
overextended.
triggered,
Yeah, get
and then
overextended.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, but that's perfect. Then you take a note of them. Then you take in consideration of it. You take experience, so that's perfect. I don't know, Vinny, if you want to say something.
Yeah, this is Vinnie. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, DNT. This is a TNT. This is a dynamite chart you have up over here. I mean, you can look at it in both ways. On the left side of the screen, you can see, that's one trade on the left side of the screen. You can see a drop below VWAP. I can see some orders being pulled, and then I think Stan also mentioned that thick, solid liquid with the red. So this would be a nice trade to go short with. Now, if you look on the other half of the chart, the right side, you can see some higher lows over there, right? So that's number one I see. And then you can also enter when it climbs above VWAP, right? And so there's your entry, and now you have your
Hmm.
target up there to your liquid up in the top right. Now I don't know how many points that is, but that's what I see right off the bat. Is that do you can you see that in a small way?
Hmm.
And maybe I talk too fast, but
That's
that's what I see right off the bat.
yeah. 30 points just from 40 points just from VWAP. Yeah, I mean it's this is the risk is
Okay.
just it's huge, man.
Yeah, and then you can also put your stop
And
just under the VWAP if you went long on the right hand side
yeah,
of
I
the screen.
didn't. I don't know what I did with my stop here. Um, I usually try to trail it, but see, I think the high of day was still, yeah, that it was pushing the high of day at that point. But and then when it starts pushing the high of day, I start to trail about three structures behind the current price. But I think I had a target here, and I think I just let it hit the target at this point.
Okay. Now you
The
went.
stops obviously need to. I'm sorry.
No, I think we're in a delay here, but you went long on the left hand side of the chart, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now do you see what I mentioned when you can actually short this?
I mean, obviously, right?
Okay. All right.
The context changed, everything was there, but yeah, my mindset was
Sure.
still. I mean, and then would I be
You
over
were
trading
biased
at that
long.
point? You know, where I'm just flip flopping
Sure.
and
And
not
on the right
quality,
side,
right?
you
At
know,
that point,
and on the right side, you can see that you can actually it has a potential of going long on that. I mean, you have a great chart here.
yeah. So like another thing too with the all right, for first is the tight stops, like what Stan mentioned. This tight stops kind of can get you into a problem where you're over trading as well, and then that over trading leads to like more psychological problems as well. So it's like if I can figure out if I can size my if I that's kind of like the most important thing. If I can figure out the risk management and get my stop size my stops um, properly spaced out, hopefully it can help with the preventing the snowball effect of over trading and then psychological discipline and so on.
Got it. Good plan you have.
Yeah,
Well,
I just
I know I'm still working on.
we got to move on.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to kind of eke in a few comments. I'm in agreement with all you guys. Just a couple things that might help is DNT. You're you know all this kind of trading and stuff. I actually have a problem with the time frames that you're trading, because I think you can find all sorts of little opportunities and scalps, and then that is where you get experience. I would just say though, like uh, maybe kind of zoom out a little bit, and then down here is what, 58.50, right? Down here, look at these big levels in here, especially in this market, because you know it's going to them. Like Stan had mentioned, the relative volume in here, it's telling you, it wants to go, and then you see the transition here in the relative volume as well, and it. So maybe look at these bigger levels in here. VWAP is fine. That's a big level, but then also this figure down here, and then the context around some of those levels, and because like Vinny said, this is a great chart. There's a lot of really great stuff in here. Even this kind of move down, and then you go across here, and you can see that they start to build in some volume in here, and you can look for that up into the higher liquidity. But just maybe just trade the important levels, and that's it.
Yep. I think that's a good advice. Yeah. Thank you.
So Jack,
And the attraction to liquidity, like what Jack was mentioning.
yeah, exactly. I mean, because it's going right toward it, and the selling's going right into it. Then a key figure or level. So Jack, did you want to go over anything else? I mean,
No, that was it. I wanted to take care of this one because there was a lot of like errors and stuff. DNT doesn't usually have a lot of those, so it was good to talk about for him.
okay.
And then
Yeah, I'm
Crypt Tower,
highlighting
he's
all
not
my errors now.
here, but it's quick.
Thank you,
if wanna
guys.
go through it.
Okay, thank you, DNT.
Thanks, buddy.
So you want to go over it quickly, or
Yeah, we can go over it
not
quickly.
not in here?
Yeah, he's not in here, but we can go over it quickly. So, one thing that I would suggest here is kind of antithesis to some of the stuff that we have with DNT. We don't really have a checklist. We don't really have a strategy. Obviously, we can see he's short, and we can see he got out, and we can see he got out because of a reason. But to me, at face value, can't see the reason here, right? So if I can't see the reason, I think that we need more explanation about what you're doing. And this is mainly from your journaling perspective. That's where we need to be taking this concept, right? It reads more like an advert on Twitter as opposed to actually like this is a trade setup that I was looking at, nailed completely, crushed it, and bookmapped order flow helped me do that, right? And that's a big difference. So try to focus on that. Great job using two different pictures, higher time frames, good colors. So all of the things really good to stand out with. But I would really focus on just kind of like avoiding the advert kind of thing and make it a journal entry, right? Because that's what we're trying to shoot for here.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like how is this helping you? If you look back at this later, like it's time to exit 53 points before the open. I mean, that's pretty scant. A lot more detail will help you a lot more. Communicating to others is helpful as well. That's kind of what keeps you accountable. But like these are for you to help you. So.
And the point of communicating to others, right, is like if you can tell a story to somebody else, when you come back to this in 6 months, you can tell that same story to yourself, right? And that's what the image and the journaling is supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, this one was really quick, so I figured it would be pretty easy to go over if you wanted to.
Okay. All right.
But a lot of his are similar to that, so really work on it, Crypt Tower.
Let's see here. Got Steven, but that's with why don't we go over with Stan? Stan, this is yours, right?
Perfect. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Is trading to the promised land, is he in here? I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
Okay. But
Shark
Shark. Come on down. And the reason we go over Shark every week, guys, is because Shark is filling out his spreadsheet, if you do that, we're gonna cover you. Anyway, nice job, Shark.
Yeah. So I don't know if you want to speak a bit about or explain us, because as usual, he said like some beautiful notes, a lot of annotation, the pattern that I think everyone knows, his 1, 2, 3 pattern, and all the confluence. So I don't know if you want to say something or.
Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on my phone, guys, so I'm gonna do my best, and we'll make it short and sweet. Um, this was yesterday. This was a replay trade. This was me coming off 2.5 days of fighting. My computer crashed on Monday, so I was down and out Monday and Tuesday, and I got it up and running yesterday in time to get it connected and just watch a little bit of price action. Do you see the yellow line above my stop limit entry?
Point me
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it.
At the bottom of the range,
Bottom of the
above,
range.
above.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right here.
that
I
yellow
Yeah.
line at the
Exactly. Yeah.
bottom of the range. That's a key auction reversal dating all the way back to October, and a level I've traded multiple times. So when I saw price uh, moving up to that, that's what I put on my radar. So typically you'll see my trade play out with the supply zone overhead, but in this case, I'm already in a larger supply zone, and I'm tracking that key auction reversal. So I put my order in, quite a while, a little bit before it triggered, and was just waiting for price to come back in and tag that order, which it did. So the key auction reversal is my higher time frame level. My 1, 2, 3 top reversal triggers the minor sell-off low of that 1, 2, 3 happened to be right at that same level as that key auction reversal, and I had my entry just below that level. So it played out rather nice. I have my CVD, VPI, and price change on the far left of the chart, all telling me I have incoming exhaustion. And I set my entry just below that higher time frame level, and price tagged it, and I watched her come down until I see my CVD VPI exit signal. That's my get the F out of the trade signal sometimes. So I just stuck another order in to take me out of the trade. So sorry guys, I'm in the car and I'm moving around just a little bit now, but that is, hey guys, the context of that trade. Oh. Sorry.
No, it was great though.
Yeah.
I really liked it when you kind of wanted to get out, you just put the order in. I do the same thing a lot of times. There's times where I need to leave or I need to do something else and I don't want to monitor the trade, right? So I just put an order in and I know I've got my trail wherever it was, and then I just move my profit to where I want it and then walk away. And it's great coming back and seeing it taken care of, right?
Could we take a quick look at the footprint chart?
Yeah.
Yep,
The
sure.
second bit.
Please hear better off the speaker. There's something on here I've been tracking yet. So you see the 5-minute rotation, the outside bar. The entire thing's almost red. I have it surrounded by a red box.
Here.
Yeah, now I have a volume increase, an outside bar, and a delta reversal all converging at the same time. So that little flurry of volume up at the top that I have marked access point, exactly. That is now on my radar in this trade as my go time signal. So price pulls back above that and then comes back down to it and just flushes through. This is something I've been tracking that happens pretty much every day in the ES, if not multiple times a day, and it happens over and over again. And I'm also seeing it in that spot that don't matter with talking about where we have that high liquidity. But it's something I'm tracking as an access trigger. It's really playing out.
Yeah, Stan, Vinnie.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah, and yeah, that's great. That's yeah, great read. I will just say for the absorption, I know what you. I think it's a bit subjective, but clearly, for me, it's a point that we should not come back. So, for example, that one here and the one on the right side too. The one on the right side, I think there is not. It's great that the no on the beat on the left, yeah, just there is like he note absorption and
Here.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And right there, so the transact into liquidity, but I still feel like there were no big volume into it that you have on the left, but still we came through it. But still, that's my view about absorption. But still, yeah, just great job as usual. I don't know, Vinny, if
I
you.
still get confused about absorption, Stan. Like I know textbook, it's when passive participants are absorbing aggressive participants. But if we're seeing aggressive participants consume the passive liquidity, whether they eat through it and continue or roll over, is that still considered absorption?
Sorry, I didn't get everything.
So I think, I mean, he's talking about, I mean, yeah, this is in my book, this is absorption. I mean, like you got high liquidity up in here, and then, you know, there's no more buying, and then you get a lot of selling, a heavy bar. So there's a lack of buyers because of they've been absorbed on the way back up here.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I just think like just for me, that's the point, and yeah, we shouldn't go back.
Yeah,
But still, that's my point.
yeah, that's what I understood, Stan. Like you're not looking for it to come back up here.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it did make an equal low here, and I'm kind of surprised after this heavy bar, like you, Stan. I mean, God, it's even a heavy, retest, back up here, and that's kind of surprising. If this, this is 14 negative, almost 1500 or so. I guess this one's like 2000. So I guess it's big, but it could be bigger on some of these other bars. So it just turns it into like a chop fest in in the middle. It looks like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, this is just a big giant kill zone at the top of the 1, 2, 3 reversal. You see it in the candlestick chart, but I'm gonna continue to clock that access point, which I locate on the footprint chart, and I'll keep posting trades flying that.
Yeah, I mean, you got some magic going with your footprint chart, Shark. So yeah, kudos, and dig in deeper.
Yeah, will do. And thanks for putting up with me on the cell phone. I'll go ahead and get off and let someone else have the time. I have some questions for tomorrow morning, Bruce, about the on chart stocks and icebergs. So I'll circle back around in the morning. Thank you guys for the insight. I truly appreciate it.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Shark.
Bye, guys.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah,
Bruce,
Vinny.
Can you bring up that chart again? Like Shark Blue had before, the previous one?
The previous one, okay.
Yeah. Just real quick, I really like what he has over here. He's on the 2-minute scale over here, and he's using the CVD VPI part of the MBO package, which is great on the subchart. which is a terrific asset. And to the right of the screen, he's also using the supply zone. And I can see what he did over there. He's really kind of using somewhat of the 1, 2, 3, which could be like the Elliott wave theory. And he's using the impulse wave down there, the number 3, if you go to the right of the screen there, Bruce. Yeah, so he uses 1, 2, 3 as like an Elliott wave. So he's got that impulse wave all the way down to his target, the promised land, and that's where he got out using the CUD BPI. So that was a awesome trade that he did. I was just curious where he put his entry.
It's right here.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, right below that key auction reversal, the minor sell-off low of the 1, 2, 3, and the key auction reversal just hit the same level at the same time. That perfect confluence. Everything just says go time.
Dynamite trade.
Yeah, Shark, compliments. Like, last time we talked, there was heavy buy volume and then a little bit of a pullback, and you were looking for your 1, 2, 3. This time you let it play out, and you saw the selling, and then more selling. I mean, look at they can't even make a higher or even an equal high, and there's more selling coming in, and you let that selling momentum take you into it, and you nail it.
Yeah, I definitely factored that that last trade in.
Nice, really great. So
thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. And Vinnie, it's awesome to have you on the coaching board, man. I hope that continues.
Well, thank you. You did a terrific job.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So, Jack, welcome back. You were away and then in the audience there for a while. Sorry about that. But I don't know if you had any comments as well.
No, it's okay. I everybody said basically everything I was going to say, so I wasn't too worried about it. It was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Shark
see.
Blue has great setups. So
Yeah.
No comments about them. So like they're great.
Let's jump over. Okay, so Promised Land. He's not in here, so let's actually. I don't know if there's something quick, Stan, you want to go over?
But I just think it's the beginning for him, and if he could like add more notes and explanation, I think he's highlighting some good point, like liquidity, looking for range.
Yeah.
Just if he could set more notes and try to start to maybe build a sort of a checklist with the element that he's highlighting.
Yeah, there's something in this image all by itself that really looks great, right? So if you're a technical analysis trader or something like that, you would look for like that double bottom, right, into a triple bottom potentially, depending on like your time frame. But if you're an order flow trader, we also see something there too. We see the liquidity down there, right? We almost reached it the first go around, then we come back to it the second go around. But you can see the strong wick away from it, right? Because of the candlesticks. Now, when you see that, what do we expect? Well, we pushed away hard. Maybe there's still some more trading there. That's a really great time for that third leg down, for that last push when there's no liquidity to try to go long, right? Like that's a great potential to bottom tick and just be long the market right there because you've failed so many times, right? And there's no liquidity interacting right there on that third leg down or anything. So like you're highlighting it. We see the circles, but annotate it for us. Tell us what you see. Do you see the same things we do? That's what we need to see, right? That's going to help you in the long run.
Yeah, totally. But good start to marking up some of the key elements in here.
I really like his trend lines. I still use them. I don't put them in my images as much, but I really, really, really like trend lines, even on Bookmap, even with the volume dots and everything. I feel they really help me see and stay on the right side of things.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. But I think also TraderMap Pro or TraderMap Lite will also be really helpful because you can see this kind of halo or shadow around price action in here.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know what time frame or what time zone he's in, but this is 9 p.m. and if it's post market or what overnight session. Yeah, okay. I guess we can move on.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and trying to make some replay mode too.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that was another thing. Like, we could, back to you, DNT. Shark was doing that. I think it would be really helpful for you to go back and replay that trade over and over again. What did you see? That you pointed out your errors, but now go back and see them again, replay it again, trade it again, and see if you still make the same errors. That I think that'll be really helpful for you. And I don't know, Vinny or Stan, Jack, any more comments on this one, or?
No, just more information, really.
Yeah.
But he's
No,
improving.
Yeah, everything is great. What Jack said, triple bottom, that was awesome. I'd like to know a little bit more where he entered and where his exit was, and what was mentioned. A checklist would be great. I really like to know what he had here. But yeah, it looks great. Start.
Yeah. I like. There's something also too about what Jack was mentioning there. Is great. Like, you've got the high liquidity. You got the high liquidity. I mean, it's kind of hard to see with the this version of without Trader Map Lite. But all this high liquidity is getting filled in here. On this leg though, and you see the volume in here too. Like, there's buying and selling back and forth, but in here, this is some, the heavy selling in here. Here's the retest, and look at the divergence there. There's very little selling in here, and then there's buying starts to come in, and once it gets back up above here, or maybe even back up above here on some heavy buying, this will, likely, go up to the top of the range or high liquidity, or maybe break it. So yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, Bruce, I actually took that trade on this setup.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. This is the one. This is a triple bottom one. So yeah, this was a really, and that's why I was. That's why I think what he put here was terrific. So I really would like to know a little bit more what his thoughts were. So yeah, checklist would have been great, and I'm sure he'll be ready to post that next time.
Okay. Well, Vinny, I wanted to go over some of your trades too. So do you know what? Where is that? And maybe you can point me to it, and we'll click on it. Is it this one here? I
was checking on my.
This was today.
Chart. I can't find it.
I'm not sure what day this chart was.
Yeah, I have it actually up on mine. It was on Tuesday, I think.
Okay. Do you want to, if you can you post it in here?
Yeah, if you just want to bring.
Maybe I can find it in here. I mean, you got so many images in here.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's awesome.
Okay. I actually have it on another
triple bottom. This one here. This one.
Okay, is that the one? Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the good one.
Okay. So
yeah.
Let's take a look at this.
Oh yeah, this is great. Yes, so this is exactly what this is exactly what the other chart had. The promised land. So yeah, there's your triple bottom. This is an awesome setup that he had displayed. There's your CVD a signal long on the bottom left, and yeah, there's your triple bottom. So you can see that it held support. We were in a demand zone. So all those triple bottoms were right in those demand zones. So yeah, and I went ahead and entered up there right in the middle of the screen. You can see, and yeah, there you go, Bruce. And yeah, so this was a really nice setup, just like a promised land had. And boom, yeah, I just entered and got it on up to the liquid target, and then I re-entered again. And after I exited the first time, and then I went ahead and exited toward that liquid in the supply zone further up. So yeah. So this was on Tuesday, I believe.
Wow. So that's
So
a
yeah,
nice,
Promised Land had, yeah, thank you. The
nice.
Promised Land had a great chart.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great, Vinny. I mean, that's exactly what we just on that triple bottom. Like, once those buyers kind of pull it away in here, and you got your exhaustion in here, or lack of selling, uh, and then you waited for a nice moment to get in here. Really, really nice entry. I love it. And
Right,
then
right. I waited. I was patient. You're right.
yeah, nicely done. And then took
Yeah.
it up, took some off, got back in, and took it up again.
Right, right. That one worked out well, fortunately.
And Vinny, maybe just a question on your demand zone. I mean, we got the figure here, 5750, but like, what made it your demand zone?
Oh yeah, I should probably clarify that more. I know I did it in previous posts, but I didn't do it on this one. I apologize. So when we're looking at the supply and demand zones, we're really looking at what I look at is the overall chart of the ES, and so I look at the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour. So I really look at the daily, and so we really look at where there is a certain levels where the price really kind of when it rises and it stops, and then if it comes down, it stops. So now you have your zone. So I'll go ahead and draw the wicks along with it, and I developed this demand zone. I think several other traders also use it as well, and so this really kind of fit in really well with this trade, and it's something anybody can do. So you can go ahead and just bring up a daily chart, and then you can go ahead and look where congestion is really, and where you have your support and resistance areas, and you can draw your zones.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Oh, totally. Like, just a quick comment, and I'll let Jack and Stan comment, but just something that we were mentioning to DNT. Like, you waited for your demand zone, you waited for your higher time frame zone, and then you're waiting for something more to tell you, I want in on this trade. And that's your setups checklist over here. And that made all the difference, So
Right.
you were patient, you had your plan, you were waiting for a higher probable trade because of the higher time frame.
Correct.
Yeah, really, really great. Stan, Jack, I don't know if you guys have any comments.
But yeah, not a lot for me. I mean, you have your checklist, you are consistent, you repeat it times after times, you post it, you are highlighting like, yeah, just key element and bookmap offers. So yeah, just great job. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And I don't know, Jack is still around or not. That kind of hops in and out. Let's see here. Oh, I think he's.
got an
I think
okay.
I think he left. Yeah, I think he's gone. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let's see what else. So we can go back and Stephen. We got Stephen up with from Moby. So Stephen, come on down. Let's get Stephen up to the stage here. All right. And let's see. Moby does a really nice job. Make sure that you get this from Moby, Stephen. He very thoughtful. And Moby's just a great teacher. And then he's got Trading His Life. We'll go over you next. And again, like I'll put this into the chat. But yeah, it's really great. Go through, and then Laura, we got you. Moby's done some really nice work in here. So, and you guys have too. So, Anyway, let's get Stephen up and running here. All right. So Stephen, walk us through this. And we
I
can't
think
hear
we got
you.
a small issue.
Yeah, I'll get the oh, yeah, Dan's already put it into the chat, so for everybody there. Yeah, it's really good. And unfortunately, we can't have Moby. He's in Western Australia. It's like 3 a.m. his time or something. Okay. So let's see, Stephen. I guess we'll try to get you back up here. We're having some difficulties. And Stephen, you know what? Let's do this. Like, just keep getting until we get you connected. Maybe we'll go over trading his life, or Laura. I mean, we got trading his life here, so yeah. Why don't you jump on up and we'll go through your trade here. And I haven't read through Moby's comments, so I'm sorry about that. But maybe you can walk us through the trade. And you're muted. Trading his life. Oh,
You hear me?
yes. Now there you are.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Bruce and everybody?
Doing well. Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
All right. Uh, Talk us through.
Sure. So, as you see, I was looking at this. I've been monitoring this all morning, and as soon as the bell opened, it ripped up to the liquidity area. So I kind of used that as I put the arrow as the resistance. So I waited until it passed the second volume, and I entered a short position with my target VWAP. And I also looked down and I saw that my CVD and my PC also took a dive. That also indicated to me that sellers were present and the price action would have went down some more, and also with the volume.
Yeah. Yeah. Beauty. And then let's see the next one. And there it is.
And yeah, I
You,
also got out too early because it kept going. Because I'm always pulling the trigger. As soon as it hits my target, I quickly get out because, I don't want to lose the profit. But this one just kept going. But as you can see, if I would have just monitored my sub chart, you see that the price of the PC and the CVD took a major dive. That right there should have indicated that to me price action would have kept going down. I should have just followed that, and you see the large volume dot, but I was so busy monitoring the trade, I didn't look down there. And once I got my price target, I got overexcited and just got out.
yeah. I don't have a problem with that. Your target was you're a VWAP trader, and
Yeah.
that's your target. I mean, maybe kind of keep it as a trailing stop, or maybe a
Yes.
soft target or something if you really see that momentum picking up, because yeah, likely it'll go to the next uh, level. I mean, here you got that's where the sellers came in, so maybe it came back down and kind of tested somewhere in here. But that's what you were targeting. That was your goal. And then yeah, go back and refine it, find ways around it maybe. So Vinny, Stan, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found, great trade. I don't know if with that you can maybe try to build a checklist and maybe try to replay, to do it in replay mode, to align like all what you just said about what you could do better, and what make you enter, and just repeat it. keep posting. That's great.
Mhm.
So yeah, just take those main elements that you're looking for and repeat them.
Definitely.
I don't
Vinny?
know, Vinny.
Yeah, yeah. This is Vinny. Yeah, trading for life. This is awesome. I really like the way you have a couple of assets that you really focused on. Your CBD VPI, your extreme. I saw your entry there with a potential entry, as well as I see a lower high there as well. So that was terrific. And then your third one is that you had your target set for your VWAP, which is really super good. Your target one, and something Bruce had mentioned as well. I see that when I first saw this, I saw a liquid target way to the bottom. I didn't know if it got there or not, but perhaps you could have had you could have scaled out on your target one at VWAP, and then maybe you can use your liquid target as a target two, and let some ride and see what happens. I know sometimes I need to do that too. I scale out maybe a little, I exit a little too soon, but that's something I need to learn as well. But that's something you can consider. And yeah, it's a checklist. Would have been great to see exactly precisely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of your assets that you use. But other than that, it looks terrifically labeled on the chart. Outstanding.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, just a couple of things like just to kind of off the top of my head. I don't know about you guys, but like this market, I mean the ES is trading like the NQ, and we know, I mean, after covering the NQ for so many years, like the NQ seems to it hits its high liquidity like this. And then it does something. It reacts. It usually doesn't blaze through it. It will sometimes. There's just more demand, by the aggressors, and it gets back up above, and they just keep on kicking into it to the upside. But you can. I've been noticing, like, and Jack was talking about it too, like some of these big swings. You get these swings, high liquidity. You get another swing all the way back down. And then you get another swing all the way back up, after hitting liquidity. So I've had to kind of adjust a little bit with the ES, thinking about those areas of at the swings with the liquidity, more than kind of like looking for a nice little pullback, trying to get back in, and these kinds of moves in here are so quick. So I mean, I think it would have been really tough to, you wouldn't know that this is going to happen. I mean, yeah, you got your indicators and stuff, but like, yeah, I think that's kind of challenging. I wouldn't, these sharp moves and then it comes right back up and then maybe even above it, So you don't know, you took your target, great, but
Yeah, this is kind of like what me and Steven was talking about, I think, on when you were doing the all market live and losing the profit, because these moves they'll be so quick. It'll go down and it'll go right back up and wipe out your whole profit. So that's why I tend to like, okay, once it hits my target, I'm out of there. Then I'll start looking maybe to re-enter. But when one single move, you could just lose the whole profit that you gained.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And in fact, uh, I think I'm finding, like, after taking some losses, um, just hit singles in this market, and taking you achieved your target, great, look for the next one, uh, and
Exactly.
because you just don't know, but we're looking for the highest probable. I mean, just think about it. What if you held it and and then it did this, it came back down, it V bottomed after hitting this kind of volume dot, or transactions there, V bottoms right back up, and then takes you out, and you might have a break even or a small loss, uh, and that would kind of, I mean, it does this to me, at least it kind of, it rattles me a little bit. You know, like, damn it, I should have, this was my goal, and build confidence, and then go back and look at it later. But that confidence is key. Like, you don't want to disrupt, that confidence you have from your trading strategy. And if you start finagling with your trading strategy, you might lose that confidence, and then you might find a string of losses. And then it kind of downward spirals until you have to kind of get back up on your feet again. So some kind of a little bit of like trader psychology, or just like management in there as well. Because see, you're sitting pretty here. Oh, I took a profit, great. But what if you took a loss? You're kind of kicking yourself. Well, it's not so bad. I took a profit, and uh, I could have done better though. And like, yeah, okay, look into doing better. But like, man, the number one thing is like, hold on to that trade setup, and don't let it kind of discourage you or shake you. Anyway, enough said.
Mm.
So let's see. I think we covered those two. And is this yours as well? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one I end up taking a loss. As you can see, it went in a range. I entered with my target VWAP. They went up, then it went right back against me towards liquidity. I end up getting out at a small loss.
So where's your entry on this one?
Right above the range, right here. Where it says enter here after range, enter
Right
the
here.
next one down. Yes.
Got you. Okay. Okay. So you got in here,
Yes.
and your
Because
target your target was here.
VWAP, yes.
Okay, I got you.
Actually, I went in with two. That was my first target, and my second target was right above VWAP.
I see. Okay, so up here.
Yes.
Okay.
So after the large volume dot, with a spike up from my CVD and PC, I was assuming that it was going to pick up. As you see, it went right against me, went right back down to liquidity.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a problem with this. Like, it didn't work out. I mean, I would just, I mean, look, it's so easy, like hindsight. I think you got the right idea here. First off, well, you went below your VWAP, and uh, it never traded this liquidity. It looks like, though. Maybe some was pulled, but it never hit it. So that absorption, these buyers here never got in. So
Oh,
so these buyers in here might be kind of hanging out in the wind. And so it would be better to see it not only trade into this liquidity, maybe spike through it, get a stop run, then see these buyers come back in, and then hit your target. You almost got there. It's still downtrending basically. Uh, and yeah, I mean, it's on. I think you did the right things. There's just some details in here. Some of the liquidity is kind of my opinion, what I see. Uh,
okay. I wanted to put in a lost in there as well, so it's not about winning all the time. So in order, because I didn't know what I did wrong, I purposely put this in to hopefully you guys went over it. So I learned because I didn't wait for it to at least touch the liquidity. I thought, once it's in that area, it
yeah,
absorbed it. So that was something. That's why I put this one in, so I could know why.
yeah. I mean, that's what I see, and maybe it's a little too early for that mean reversion trade back to VWAP. Still kind of downtrending. But this is a lot of volume, though. And you saw it in your indicators. You saw it a lot of places. So um,
Yeah, and my delta on the side also was saying, buyers was there. So
yeah, I mean, I would, maybe
right above that.
look back at the uh, Oh yeah, in here.
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Maybe look back at, I mean, is this level a key level for you? This 5820. I mean, is it kind of in the middle of nowhere, or is it pretty big level on the higher time frames? That would be something to answer, I think, as well. Because what did it do? What did price do here? Did it continue on down to the next level down here?
No, actually, it went down, touched the liquidity, then shot right back up to VWAP.
Okay. Okay. So it really was. So it was an important level. It sounds like, and it
I
just
think I
never
was,
it just never traded that liquidity.
yeah, that's what it was. I think I was just a little bit too early. I jumped the gun on that one.
Yeah. 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 Vinny, Stan, jump in.
Yeah. Uh, I really like this setup. I did it like, yeah, a long time, and even now I still do it. Yeah, just sometimes, yeah, it doesn't happen, but still great conviction at this time. It's a bit maybe too much in the microstructure, but that's great too. As Bruce mentioned, maybe the liquidity field uh, would be a better sign. Um, yeah, but great, but just take those like key elements, build a small checklist and go in replay mode and do it. Build confidence in your setup. I think you are highlighting like great elements. So just now try to do, yeah, to build a checklist that fit with your trading style.
Uh,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah, yeah. This is Vinny. Yeah, I really like all your assets are in place. You had the breakout from consolidation. You had liquid support. You had the CBD BPI single as well, and you had your target one and target two. And I'm assuming you probably had your stop just underneath that liquid bar. But yeah, you had everything in place. And like everybody else said, sometimes these things just don't work for a reason. But otherwise, I think your setup was terrific.
Yeah. That's the best we can do. Trading is life.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I just want to mention, for all the new people, I see a lot of new people putting they post out there. I started with Bookmap in December. I've been trying to pass a combine since September. And yesterday I finally passed the combine because I kept coming into Bruce's All Market is Live. I'm putting myself out there. This really works, guys. If you guys want to learn how to trade, this is the place to be. So I finally passed my first combine yesterday.
Hey,
Now I'm a fundraiser.
congratulations.
Congratulations. All right.
Way to go. That's excellent. That's excellent. Heck, we'll have you leading the All Markets webinar. Um, so yeah, really, really great to hear, and thanks for that. Like you've been, um, it's really nice to hear, but you've been putting the work in. You've been doing it, and you took advantage of it. So kudos to you.
Thank you, but it really works to all these new people. If you listen to the coaches, even if they're not talking about your trade, listen to what they're saying. You'll pick up things or two, and you can apply it to your trading strategy. And like I just wanted to say thank you to everybody on here because since September I've been trying to pass one, and I finally passed one.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Yeah, thank you, Trading is Life.
Okay.
I think that's it from Moby for you. We've got Laura and then John. I've got some for John, I think, as well. But let's see, Stephen, do you want to come back up? Able to get your mic working? Yeah, way to go, Trading is Life. That's fantastic to hear. And congratulations coming in. So Stephen might be away from his machine. And Laura, boy, Laura, like either we all have to learn German, or maybe we can use a translator or something. Anyway, let's we'll jump into your trades, Laura, and start to go through them. Okay, so yeah, your mic is giving you some issues. All right, Stephen. Let's see here. Laura's been doing just great. So first trade, got her checklist. She's got the regular trading hours open. You've got your ORB trade, and down into high liquidity here. So 930 here, right? Okay, yeah. And I don't see your orders in here, or maybe they're in here. It's hard to see. So did you take this trade, Laura? Did you take this down to the high liquidity here, or did you kind of get involved into it and then get kind of trapped? I mean, you can see a beautiful trap here set at the opening, and the squeeze here is just kind of brutal, right up into high liquidity here, and it comes right back down again. Here's your study for the next image. Okay, so let's go into that, and let's see here. All right, so you got your 1, 2, 3 pattern. Okay, so you didn't take the ORB, and yeah, got you. Okay. Okay, you got your trend line. You got your trend line breaks. This is something, Shark, that might help. Well, it won't help with the footprint chart at all, and you're watching the delta, but like a trend line break on some of these 1, 2, 3 patterns is a pretty good one. And then look for that retest in here after the trend line break. It's I mean, you kind of see that head and shoulders pattern in here, or whatever it is. But I don't know. It's something to consider. Let's see. You got your short. You didn't take the trade because the first half hour the VIX was too high. Okay. Opening high, high opening range. Okay. But you didn't know that at that point, right? And then liquidity disappears. Possible short in or my valley low. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I like it, Laura. I like it even better that you didn't trade. It's kind of choppy in here. Although you would have had a winner. You've got your low volume pullback after your 1, 2, 3 pattern right here. It's beautiful. You got market structure as well, right here. I really like your work, and it didn't come up to here. It came up to here, and then you got a little 1, 2, 3 pattern in here, and then the selling starts to pick up again, kind of in here, and then you get your move. You even get the same one again here, and you could have taken that one again as well. But I mean, those are little scalps, but like, you can add into your positions. Take some off maybe at your VWAP or bottom of the range, or look for your next little range. Take some off and look again for that same pattern in here. Here's the pullback. Here's a retest, no buying here, starts to exhaust out. The selling starts to, it doesn't pick up quite there, but here it does, in here, and then that's pretty close to the bottom of the range. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you can kind of get in, you can kind of feel it when it's starting to fail, and then look for taking it down. Anyway, I really like that you didn't take it because it is pretty choppy in here. And relative volume, I don't know. I mean, this is the selling here. It doesn't look too convincing either, to be honest. Anyway, guys, that's what I got. Vinny, Stan, jump in, please.
Yeah. Go ahead, Vinny.
Stan. Okay, well, this is Vinny. I don't hear Stan, so I'll go ahead and jump in. Yeah, I really like what she has here on the chart. She has her lower high in place, and she has a trend break, and the 1, 2, 3. She has all her setup in place, and the VIX was high too, so she factored that intangible in as well. Yeah, and I noticed, Bruce, that yeah, this is really fluctuating, and boy, is it fluctuating already. She's on the I think that's a 1-minute chart. So yeah, that's sometimes she just kind of played it safe. So I don't blame her for that. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I think you cover everything. Yeah, no, it's just, yeah, great trade. Good to have the checklist. The trade makes sense. I mean, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, yeah, really, Laura. I don't know how you're finding these examples, like these setups. Like, it's funny because you know, we've talked about this in the past about for years. Like, you know, a lot of traders, newer traders, when they first start trading, is they think like it's some sort of like math equation, and it just isn't. It just doesn't work like that. You know, at least that's been my experience. It is an auction. It is crazy. It is wild. It fluctuates. It'll change on a dime, and everything will be different. The maybe best analogy is something like a poker hand, and all of a sudden everything changes on the next card that comes out. So you know, that's what happens in the market. However, yours keeps on revolving back to like it looking like a math problem to me. It's you know, kudos to you. You find these great examples, and you're taking the trades too. It's really great. I'm a little envious. So good work. All right, I think that's let's see, there's a few more in here, but Stephen, let's try to get Stephen back up, or Stephen, you're out. Your mic is not working. That's that. Okay. And let's see here. I like this is getting much simpler, Stephen, at least like high liquidity in here. Can't see your entry. Oh, this is March 3rd. Okay. And this East Coast time or is this Central time, Stephen? I got to go back to the first slide. Okay. Got you. Okay. Was this the open? Yeah, I think this was the open. Yeah. So this is 9:30 cash open, so East Coast time. Yeah, actually, I was looking at the same thing in here. This is a beautiful chart. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. Like at you know, 9:30 here, you get the move to the upside into high liquidity up in here. I think. Tell me if I'm wrong, but this is what it looks like. And where did you get in? You entered short here. Okay, not bad, not bad. You're kind of waiting for it, and you're starting to see the selling coming in. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. You get a feel for it in here, and you see the sell dot in here, and goes down, comes right back to where it dropped from, and it rolls back again, back into high liquidity in here, and then I think it really dropped after that. But Anyway, notice the sell bars. Yeah, this is great, Stephen. And this is the like that 1, 2, 3 kind of pattern in here as well. And again, high liquidity here at the open. And then you starting to note the context in here. It can't even make higher highs or even equal highs. And then the selling, as you note, really starting to come in, targeting high liquidity, and it looks like trades through it, bounces again, and I think it really rolled over at that point. But let's see. So you entered short in here, and your target one was right before the high liquidity. Perfect. Yeah, and then slide 2. Let's see. So this was okay later. It came back up. Trail stop hit 59. So what was at 59? What was it back here earlier? I'm sorry. Oh, great. Okay, so you had a nice winner. Yeah, way to go, Stephen. Yep, okay. Yeah, and in terms of your trailing stop, this I mean I don't really have much to say. This is nicely done, Stephen. The only thing that I would comment on is it's more of a personal thing from just my point of view, is the trailing stop. I'm not a big fan of it, but maybe look into something else like the buying here that starts to come back in, and with some relative volume here starting to pick up after trading into some high liquidity, maybe that helps, because this took you out, and you could have had a really nice winner instead of being taken out, and then I think it rolled over yet again. Anyway, just a thought on that. Stan, Vinny, what do you guys think?
Yeah. Yeah, as you mentioned, I think maybe trying to build some exit criteria. As we can see, like for example, with Shark, the target or his VPI CVD to exit. I find always great like to have like notes in your slides, to have more explanation about the context, and even like some notes. Great to have like multiple charts to have the context.
We to be honest, Stan, like I think he took some of our, at least my feedback last time to try to simplify things. And he did, and I think things do look cleaner. I would love to hear what you okay, Shark, you got to go. Thanks, great session, Shark, good stuff. I wondered if it helped you or not, Stephen, because it is looking cleaner, and maybe more focused. You still got your kind of checklist at the top here, and you do have your insets in here on different time frames. Yeah, anyway, that's yeah, let us know. Whatever helps. If you did better, marking up more, then that's the way to go for you. So anyway, that's those are my comments. Vinny, what do you got?
Yeah, his chart looks really clean. I mean, it looks great. I'm able to see terrific. I see, like you just mentioned, Bruce, he has his lower highs in place. He has a CVD subchart for the extreme. He has his liquid resistance above, and he has his target set. It almost looked like there was a little bit of a trend break that you can see as well from that chart 1 that he has. That's just slide 2, but on the slide 1 that he had that I was referring to. Yeah, lower high in place, CVD subchart. Looks like liquid resistance above. Yeah, a little bit of a trend break on his 1, 2, 3. just like Laura did before. And yeah, this is a crazy Ivan market, and maybe best is to take profits, right away. So yeah, you're spot on. So outstanding.
Yeah, nice one, Stephen. Yeah, clean and clear. You'd love to comment, but your head said. Well, anyway, we can talk more maybe tomorrow in the all markets, but or write it right in the chat. Some of your thoughts would be great to go over. Anyway, let's move on to John, and I invited him up here to the stage already. I need to actually go to his spreadsheet here. Hold on a minute. All right.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
John, you've just been really, as always, I mean, just creating some really fantastic work, and some utterly, beautiful trades. And you've been trading. You've had to change up your style, which is not easy to do. And I don't know. I just wide open. Why don't you walk us through the chart?
Well, on this one, the first thing that struck me was the imbalance of liquidity below the market. So I'd label that as number one. You see the liquidity below, whereas you really didn't see a lot of interest above. Plus, we were holding pretty much at VWAP. So those two things, we didn't have any levels at this time, any gamma levels, but I did have those two things right there exactly. And then we had a failed push to the upside above VWAP. But it was that imbalance of liquidity below that was really drawing my attention to get short. Reached the first target, and actually, that liquidity below that helps me to decide if I'm going to have two exits or just or three. So I always have that first target. I want to get that first one off and then adjust my exposure. But when I see those multiple lines below that, lines of liquidity, those liquidity levels, that helps me to decide, okay, I'm going to do a 3 contract set instead of just 2. And so that's how I mark that out accordingly. And I just pick out the highest levels of liquidities, and I set those as my targets, and then just work the trade to those.
Wow, that's great. And no spot gamma levels in here, just VWAP.
At this time, it was we don't get those until around 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. They're still calculating those. I'm not sure of the process, but no, I didn't have any at that time. I was really just going off of liquidity.
Wow. Yeah, beautiful. Stan, this is right up your alley.
Yeah.
Let's see. So this was East Coast time at 2 a.m. or 2:20 a.m. or so. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I've, like you said, I've had to adjust my time because during the day I just see these markets as just too risky. It's like the Wild West, and I don't want to be exposed to these headlines. So I've had to adjust my time that I can participate and be pretty aggressive during the pre-market, and then just kind of watch during the day. Yeah.
So how has that been working for you? So you've done a few different things. First off, you're trading differently. You're using different. Well, previously you were using leaning heavily on the spot gamma levels, and then order flow. Some VWAP, but now it's VWAP or liquidity levels, and different instruments, and also different times.
Well, at its core, it's the same. Nothing really has changed. I don't have the gamma levels during this time, but I do have Hero, and we do have Hero active. And there's a version of Hero that focuses only on options on the ES. And so I do have the option flow, and option flow was a part of this trade. It was a big part of this trade. I don't have the levels as yet because, like I said, they're calculated, and then released to Spot Gamma, and they run their number models. But everything else, I mean, if you look at my checklist, it's the same. You know, I key off a VWAP. I trade to liquidity levels. If I have the gamma levels, fine. But you know, and I also have included bonds because I see some clarity and a little less volatility, at least trading yet. And like I said, I'm trying to work as much as I can during the pre-market because really don't want to be exposed during the day. So less the levels, really nothing much has changed. No. I've added bonds, and sometimes I don't have the levels, but everything else, my checklist has not changed.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
You know, there's just a couple of things that like just stand out to me here. Is just such a great use of liquidity and understanding that here's where it all comes in, right
Yeah.
around this time frame here. I mean, yeah, there's some other areas here, but you see 1, 2,
Yep.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 levels of high liquidity start to come in here.
Yeah.
So you're noting that, and you're looking that are the aggressors drawn toward that. Now you know you're below your VWAP, which is your higher time frame. Kind of what do you call it? Not a standard, but like this is your kind of guide here,
A good reference.
reference point. Yeah, and now you're looking for a move into or below it, retest it, VWAP, and then a move back down into liquidity.
You're always looking for that test. Now, down at the bottom, you can see where I have it numbered number 3. You had that little push of volume to the upside at VWAP, and so that was a catalyst as well. Then I said, okay, I'll trade this reversal to the downside. I'm going to keep my stop really close. It has to, once I see that failed push to the upside and enter on a reversal, the trade must go in my favor pretty quick. Otherwise, I'm going to get out. So I can ride with a pretty close stop in there. But yeah, exactly what you said, plus that failure to rally above VWAP and then the reversal to the downside. And that's where I got in.
So I mean, this seems like such a, to me, like I'd love to hear more details on your entry, because to me this looks like I'm just looking at the relative volume in here, and okay, there's a little bit of selling in here, not much. We're already above it. They're open for the squeeze, and yet you're shorting it, and it's a buy bar here, and you couldn't have gotten much better. But why are you shorting it here? Why wouldn't you be shorting it like in here? I'm kind of curious. Like you've shown this many images in here, so
exactly.
You know, I know you got a process to it.
It is it's the failure. You know, you cited all that volume that came into the market. Well, why didn't it go?
Okay,
that's the question that I asked during the day. Yeah, you had all that volume and it stalled. It didn't go, and then it attempts again. So, and that's really the basis of it. I'm going to wait for the reversal, and then I'm going to get short. Yeah.
So so from what I understand, I mean, because it's still, I don't quite understand it. To me, this still looks like it's ready to come back up here.
There's
but
no liquidity up there.
There's no liquidity. That's true.
Right. See, now that would be different. If there were liquidity being posted up there or added, that would nip the trade. There isn't any. In fact, right when I got in, liquidity canceled up there. Right there.
Yeah, right in this little zone.
Right up, no, a little bit higher.
Right here.
The 52. There you go.
Yeah.
Liquidity canceled right there. And so, I mean, I hear your point, except that there wasn't anything up there to support, nothing there to attract prices.
And you do wait like until you see this little red dot, like it kind of comes up, and then you do wait for that, I
I do
believe.
wait for it. Yeah, I get the reversal. I have to have some indication. Otherwise, what you're saying is, you have to wait to see the failure.
Got you,
Yes.
got you. Okay. Wow, it's a really fantastic entry. It's a really fantastic trade. Um, I don't know. Any questions, Stan or Vinny?
Yeah.
In fact,
So how do you consider like the the fact that they pull on the top? Um, yeah, just how do you consider it? Because I see it like a lot of time on a lot of markets. It seems like end of a move or someone's taking position, but I don't know how you would explain it.
yeah, I don't follow your question. It might be a language barrier. I'm
I mean, like, how do you read the fact that they pull the liquidity, and why at this time for you it's like the time to take the short? Like, is it like maybe they're not willing to take that and at this time, or what's your feeling when they pull it that give you the confirmation to take the short?
Well, when they pull the liquidity, that's less interest, right? And you still have the liquidity down below. Do you have the hero chart? Can you show that? I always post that. Do you have that in there somewhere, Bruce?
I
The hero
may.
chart, either before or after? Um,
A minute.
because that
Bruce,
was very helpful.
I'll just chime in real quick about his initial
There you go.
post. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, you see how, starting very early, Hero was really making its way down
Yeah, this helps too.
long
Yeah,
before
yeah.
long before the trade even started. So we had that flow going down. So liquidity below plus option flow heading in that direction. They're two main elements of my entry. And that all sets a lot of things that might be on that chart when you really start to micro analyze it.
Right. So it was somewhere in
That
here you started to
was
see the hero go down.
absolutely. And then the liquidity comes in. I'm looking to get short.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, it's a really pretty trade.
That's where that combination has really been helpful to me.
Stan, did you get your question
Yeah,
answered?
yeah. That's great. Yeah,
Okay.
perfect. I
Okay.
don't know, Vinny, you were speaking.
Oh yeah, yeah, John. This is great. I can see exactly what you're talking about, where they pull the liquidity above,
Mhm,
right? So they lack the interest. Yeah, that was great.
mhm.
And you can also see just a little bit to the right, they pull the orders lower over there. So while you shorted, I probably would have shorted lower than you did. So you had a much better entry than if I would have taken the short. But yeah, I can definitely see that. And yeah, you definitely have your setups with the hero and gamma. I mean, I use the gamma on option trading for
Mhm.
put spreads on the SPX, but you definitely have your setups in place and your liquidity as your target. I mean, and yeah. I mean, you're doing really good. I mean, I'm really impressed. Also, I did have one question. I know you entered 2 or 3 contracts at times.
Mhm.
My question is, do you scale out at all?
Well, I'm taking these targets, right? So I am scaling, yeah, at those exactly, right? So I'm entering a 3 lot and I'm working them down, um, and executing those limit orders at those targets, right?
Okay, so I'm assuming that target that you have below you scaled out one contract, and the second target, you scale out another one, and then you hold
Exactly.
one all the way to the very bottom.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and that's the base.
I just is that your strategy, or do you scale them out 1, 2, 3, or do you ever consider scaling out and at them all at once?
Um, Occasionally I'll move one down if liquidity is rolling out. I'll roll out, but pretty much these are fixed. That's how we do it. Yeah. Um,
Thank you.
yep.
So,
Yep.
so Vinny, like I think you might have been away a couple of times. We went over John's way of management, which is really great. It bears repeating, or is worth repeating uh, several more times. So John knows that if he takes this short or takes this trade, from his statistics, if he takes his first target here, it's like 80% win rate. So he'll take some off to pay himself every day, and then he'll build his account with the other ones. And that's the way he is managing his trades so that he can make a living trading.
Outstanding.
Yeah, is really great. He's got a great setup with a great management system in place as well. Um, I just had a question. I mean, I have all sorts of questions for you, John. But just so your first target is that's kind of your bread and butter, right? And now you're feeling good, and you can trade probably even better after that first target.
Yes.
Then I'm just I'm wondering though, like where I think we've always seen your targets hit. Like, what about getting stopped out? Where would you be placing your stops? Would you just be keeping it? Like, I'm sure you're moving it down, but suppose like this reversed off of this area here, and came back up.
Hmm.
How are you managing target 2 or 3?
Hmm. Hmm. Um, eh, on the entry, I'm real tight with the stop. But once I get that first one off, and once I'm able to lower that stop down to break even, then I'm a bit generous
Hmm.
with my stops. I don't follow it all that closely. So I might come down just above liquidity there at 45, and I'll stair step down. But I do let the trades work out once I get that first one off because I know I have a winning trade. I know I'm going to get paid. Now the question is, um, how much? And I don't have any mathematical. I don't use a following stop on an ATM or anything like that. Generally speaking, I'll just ride down behind VWAP. But if I see something, if I see sell sweeps come in and that kind of thing and failures, then I will execute the trade. And I have shown that if one of these liquidity bands that'll close the trade out. But as following, I try to let the trade work out, and I will exit early if I see, like I said, a buy sweep or a stop run, something like that, where you look for a reversal, or if some of this liquidity disappears, then I'll go away.
Got you.
But
Yeah.
as you can see during this trade, liquidity stayed in the market.
Yeah. 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 It had intent, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, wow. It's really great. The
And you
uh,
may raise a good question, Bruce, and I'll tell you that's where I'm getting up before the chickens because, during the day, I don't think you can employ that strategy. I think it'll come up and get you.
yeah, I think it would. I mean, the way
Yeah.
it's been trading these last several days, like
Yeah.
it probably would have come back
Yeah.
up into this area up here. Who
Yes. Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
And it's like you've got to take your profits at liquidity, basically.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
you're just not getting runners like this.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so okay. So yeah, really, really great.
Hmm.
I don't have any more questions. I don't know, Vinny,
And
Stan.
as this trade is going, also the other thing, not to interrupt you, and I'm sorry about that, but one reason why I'm also kind of generous with the stops is that Hero began to accelerate as this trade progressed. You were showing that before, but it really started to slope off, and so I'm not. I just let that ride. I want to ride on the blanket of that hero chart really going south. And that's what it did. Right where you have your cursor, that's when it really started to accelerate to the downside. I felt pretty comfortable about being short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So it all works.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, if we just kind of review this in here and kind of go through your checklist a little bit, you know, there's God. I think when we first started going through your charts, it was we were mentioning this like in the coach's feedback, like you know, there's a lot going on here that's not on the chart, and it's really I feel it's really important to note, you know, what else is happening in here. Like with DNT matter, you know, the higher time frame. So DNT, you know, instead of just consider it like, you know, you could have taken this trade as well. Very much. I mean, this is within your wheelhouse here. But there's a few different things going on here. Number one is he's taking one trade. It's going with higher time frame. Is VWAP, is he's using the VWAP in this case, but he's also using other things like higher time frame or high liquidity as well. And then he's also got another impetus, which is the hero, the options. And he's got that on his side too. So all of a sudden, just because of those are big picture things, and they are critical. And it makes this a higher probability trade. So, you know, I don't know, John, if there's anything you want to mention about that, about higher time frames and your studies and you know, what has helped you? And maybe
No,
I'm wrong. I don't know.
no, you're not. That's it in a nutshell. There's nothing else to add to that. And it's important that it's that straightforward. It's that well defined. Yes.
Yeah, and then order flow on top of it. You know? That's the entry mechanism basically for you. Yeah. Wow. Wow, great session, guys. I have nothing more to go through. So I don't know, Vinny or Stan, do you want or John, you guys have any last words here?
Nope. Nope. I started at 2 this morning. I'm dead.
All
But thank you. I appreciate your time.
right.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
everybody did great. Terrific session. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Great to have you on the stage, Vinny.
Thank you. I'm honored.
All right, guys. Good session. So yeah, one more day of trading, and then weekend. So be careful out there, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. Bye, everybody.